You stand now at the precipice of a moment so sharp, so defining, that the echoes of your choice will reverberate far beyond the sight of those who dared to challenge you. Welcome to the reality where hesitation is a forgotten luxury, where mercy is not a currency you trade in, and where your will becomes the unbreakable law that others must bend to or break themselves against. This is not a place for the faint-hearted, the unsure, or the wavering. This is the moment where your power becomes absolute, where the world tilts and shifts under the weight of your decision, and where you transform from a mere participant into the inevitable force they never saw coming. They thought their path was open, their options endless, their fate something they could still negotiate. But you shattered that illusion with a quiet ferocity, so complete that nothing remains but the crushing certainty of their defeat. In a single moment, you blacked out their power. You drew the final curtain on their hope. You sealed their exit with a finality so cold, so relentless, that it leaves no room for retreat, no possibility for recovery, no whisper of mercy. Understand this. The path you closed was never theirs to hold. It was always yours to command, always yours to deny. And with that closure, you didn't just block their escape. You became the gatekeeper of their destiny, the architect of their downfall. They stand before you now, trapped not only by circumstance, but by the shadow you cast. A shadow long enough to swallow everything they relied on, everything they dreamed they could become. In this silence after the storm, when the dust settles and the last flicker of resistance fades, what remains is the undeniable truth of your power. To close a path is to sever the lifeline of possibility. To seal an exit is to trap them in the prison of their own making, forged by the force of your unwavering will. And in that prison, they will come to understand the depth of your strength, not because you shouted it from the rooftops, but because you wielded it in the quiet precision of an unstoppable moment. Never forget, power is not given, it is claimed. It is not whispered in the corridors of fear or hesitation, but shouted in the silence left by broken promises and shattered hopes. When you black out someone's power, you don't just win a battle. You erase the map of their journey. You redraw the boundaries of what is possible, and you make certain that every step forward for them is a step taken inside the cage you built. Let them rage, let them plead, let their voices dissolve into the void you created. Their resistance only confirms the weight of your move, that your hand was steady, your aim true, and your purpose unyielding. When they look back, they won't see an enemy. They won't even see a challenger. They will see the inevitability of their own limits, exposed and crushed beneath the shadow of your unshakable resolve. This moment is a declaration, a statement not made with words but with action, raw, unfiltered, and irrevocable. It is the kind of moment that does not just change the game, it changes the very rules on which the game was played. To close their path and seal the exit is to rewrite the script of what was expected, to shatter the illusions of control, and to reveal the truth that power, when truly held, is absolute and uncompromising. And here's the deeper truth. This power you wield, this control you have asserted, it does not diminish you. It defines you. It is a reflection of your clarity, your vision, your refusal to accept anything less than total command of your fate and the fate of those who thought they could challenge it. When you stand at the gates you have closed, know that you are no longer part of the crowd. You are the master of the threshold, the final judge who decides who moves forward and who remains locked behind walls of your own design. Their options ended the moment you chose to act. Their hopes dimmed the instant your decision fell like a hammer, firm and unyielding. And though they may seek to claw back what was lost, to rewrite what was sealed, they will find only cold steel where once there was light. The steel of your conviction, the unbreakable bars forged in the heat of your relentless will. The path you closed is not just a barrier for them, Mahim. It is a monument to your power. It is the embodiment of every moment you refused to back down, every time you stood firm when others would have faltered, and every decision where you chose to claim your place at the top of a world that fears the fall but respects the climb. You did not stumble into this moment. You carved it with your own hands, shaped it with your own mind, and owned it with your unshakable heart. Now, as you stand on the other side of that closed path, look back once, only once, to see the ruin left in your wake. Let the silence that follows be the loudest message they ever hear, a message not of threat, but of certainty. You blacked out their power. You shut down their light. You sealed their exit. And in doing so, you revealed the truth that the only real path worth walking is the one you build yourself. So move forward, not with hesitation, not with doubt, but with the fierce confidence of someone who has just ended a chapter others thought was theirs to write, because the path they lost is the one you claimed. The exit they sealed is the one you locked behind them, and the power you blacked out is the one that now burns inside you, unstoppable and eternal. You did not just win. You redefined what it means to win. You did not just end their journey. You began your own. The path ahead is yours, unchallenged and unbroken, because you closed theirs and sealed their exit, and in that, you became the force none can escape, the shadow none can outrun, and the power none can deny. Remember this moment. Own this moment. Let it fuel you in every breath, every step, every fight to come. Because you didn't just close their path, you sealed the exit. And now, nothing stands between you and the destiny only you can claim. They believed their path was carved in stone, that their exit was guaranteed. They built their lives on assumptions, on weak foundations that crumbled the moment you closed the door behind them. Now, the horizon they once saw stretching endlessly before them is nothing but a fading shadow swallowed by the darkness you cast. You didn't just take their options away, you stripped them of the very illusion that gave them hope. And hope is a fragile thing. Without it, they are left to wander in the void, searching for a light that no longer exists. You don't have to say a word. Your silence screams louder than any shout could. It tells the story of power seized and power denied. It is the void where their voices once echoed, now filled only with the weight of your decision. Unyielding, unbroken, undeniable. Every second that ticks by under your watch is a reminder that their fate is no longer in their hands, but yours alone. And in this silence, you are sovereign. Think about what it means to truly black out someone's power. It's not about a fleeting victory or a momentary edge. It's about absolute control, a shutting down of all avenues that once allowed movement, growth, resistance. It is the extinguishing of their light with the precision of a blade. No chaos, no mess, just the quiet inevitability of darkness swallowing flame. That is your legacy in this moment, the one who didn't just challenge the status quo, but obliterated it entirely. This is not a game of luck or chance. This is the battlefield of mind and spirit, where hesitation kills and decisiveness reigns supreme. When you close someone's path and seal their exit, you are telling the world that you are not to be toyed with, that your resolve is sharper than any blade, that your vision is clearer than any horizon, and that your will is stronger than the strongest resistance. You are the storm that no shelter can hold, the force that breaks every chain. and the shadow that eclipses every light. There is a haunting beauty in the finality you've created, a dark elegance in the way you've turned their hopes to dust and their plans to rubble. This is the art of power wielded without apology, without hesitation. It is the cold truth that some doors must be shut forever, that some exits must be sealed with a lock that cannot be undone, and that some powers must be blacked out so completely that the world itself remembers the moment they cease to exist. Let them talk about it. Let them speculate, rage, and plot. None of it matters. The real battle was fought in the quiet instant you took control, the moment your hand fell like thunder and made sure their path ended where you decided. Their energy now drips into the void, wasted on futile attempts to reclaim what you've already lost forever. You have become the finality they fear, the truth they deny, and the force they cannot overcome. You are not just closing a path. You are reshaping reality. Every step you take forward now carries the weight of that power, a power forged in the fire of choice, sharpened by the edge of consequence, and sealed by the sheer force of will. You are the gatekeeper of futures now lost, and the architect of a destiny only you can walk. And yet, with all this darkness, there is a light burning inside you, a light fueled by clarity, focus, and an unbreakable spirit. This light does not shine to comfort or to guide. It burns to burn away doubt, to incinerate weakness, and to illuminate the path of absolute command. It is the fire of someone who understands that power is not a gift, but a conquest. That to black out another's power is to claim your own in its purest, most unchallenged form. Look at yourself now, standing tall in the aftermath of what you have done. The world will try to convince you that what you wield is dangerous, that the darkness you've embraced is something to fear. But you know the truth. It is in this darkness that true strength is born. It is in this silence that your voice becomes the roar that no one can ignore. It is in this closing of their path and sealing of their exit that you find the clarity of your own destiny. So let the echoes of your action ring out. Let them shake the foundations of everything that dared to oppose you. Because when you black out someone's power in a single moment, you don't just stop them. You redefine the limits of what power means, and you write the rules by which the future will be judged. Remember, power like this is rare. It's not about brute force or empty threats. It is the quiet, cold precision of a mind that knows exactly what must be done, and the heart that beats with unshakable conviction to see it through. You didn't stumble into this moment by accident. You earned it, you seized it, and now you own it. No one else can claim the path you closed. No one else can break through the exit you sealed. That space, that moment, that power is yours, forever etched into the timeline of your life, as the point where you stepped beyond limits, beyond fear, beyond the reach of those who thought they could stop you. The road ahead is yours to walk, clear, unchallenged, and unstoppable. And every step you take will remind the world that you are the one who blacked out their power, who closed their path, and who sealed the exit. The rest is silence, and you are the storm at its center. When you closed their path and sealed the exit, you didn't just act. You transcended the ordinary. You became the force of finality in a world that often clings to fleeting chances and empty promises. The power you wield now is not temporary. It's carved into the very fabric of reality. It's the weight that bends the horizon, the silence that follows a storm, the darkness that swallows light without a trace. They once believed they controlled the narrative, but you've rewritten it, page by brutal page, until the only story left is the one you command. This isn't about revenge. nor is it about cruelty. It is about authority, the purest, most unyielding form of it. To close someone's path means to strip away their illusion of control, to reveal their vulnerability in the starkest terms. When you sealed the exit, you cut off every avenue of retreat, every whisper of hope. You made sure that the place they once called their future is now a mausoleum of shattered dreams, a tomb built by the sheer force of your will. The moment you flipped that switch, blacking out their power, was the moment you assumed your rightful place, not just above them, but beyond their reach. They will remember that instant as the point where everything shifted, where the scales fell, where the balance tipped irreversibly in your favor. And while they scramble in the dark, trying to grasp what was lost, you stand in the light of your own unshakable certainty. Understand this. True power does not plead or negotiate. It acts. It moves swiftly and without remorse. It is the quiet strike that leaves no wound to heal, no scar to hide. It's the shadow that creeps without sound, the unseen force that crumbles the strongest walls. And in that act of closing their path and sealing their exit, you became the embodiment of this power, inevitable, unstoppable, absolute. They may try to come back, but the gates you locked will not budge. They will claw, rage, scream, yet all their noise is swallowed by the stone silence you've built around their fate. Because once power is blacked out, once the path is closed, the only way forward is through surrender or obliteration. And you don't offer surrender, nor do you tolerate failure. You only offer one truth. This moment belongs to you, and it will never be undone. In this dark crucible of choice, you forged yourself anew. No longer the hesitant, the uncertain, the doubtful. You are the force that bends worlds to your will. Your presence is no longer a question but a command. You don't just block paths, you dictate which roads will ever exist. You don't simply seal exits, you determine who lives in the corridors of power and who is left to perish in forgotten shadows. And here lies the greatest secret. The power to close their path and seal their exit is a reflection of your own freedom. Because to hold such dominion over others means you have conquered your own fears, your own limits, your own doubts. You have stared into the abyss, faced down uncertainty, and emerged with a resolve so fierce it burns away every obstacle in your way. The darkness you wield is not a void. It is a weapon, sharpened by every trial, every battle, every moment where you chose to stand when others would fall. Now, with their power blacked out and their path closed, you are free. Free to rise above the chaos, free to build empires from the ashes of their defeat, free to carve your name into the annals of what is possible when will meets destiny. The exit you sealed isn't just their end, it is your beginning. This is the moment where you claim what is yours, not by chance, not by luck, but by the cold, relentless strength of a spirit that refuses to be denied. When the world looks at you, it will see not a challenger, but a conqueror, not a participant, but a ruler. And every whispered doubt, every shadow of resistance, every fleeting hope they cling to will be swallowed by the certainty that you alone control the gates of fate. Let this truth settle deep in your bones. You are the final answer to every question, the unmovable force to every obstacle, the unbreakable will that no power can resist. You blacked out their power in a single moment, and in doing so, you sealed not only their exit, but your eternal dominion. The path they lost is the path you now own. The exit they sealed is the exit you locked behind them. And the power you took from them is the power that fuels your rise beyond all limits. Move forward with the knowledge that what you've done cannot be undone, and what you've claimed cannot be taken. Because you didn't just close their path, you sealed the exit, and in that, you became the force none can escape, the shadow none can outrun, the power none can deny. There is a certain clarity that only comes when all options are stripped away, when the path behind is closed and the exit sealed tight. It is in this void, this absolute dead end, the true power reveals itself. Because power doesn't thrive in chaos or uncertainty, it thrives in control, in the knowledge that you are the one who decides who moves forward and who stays trapped forever in the shadows of their own downfall. They once walked freely, believing the world was theirs to conquer. They moved with arrogance, with blind confidence, unaware that the ground beneath them was already collapsing, that the path they took for granted was being erased with every step you took behind their backs. And now, as they turn, desperate to find a way out, they find nothing but the cold wall you built with your own hands. A wall forged from your resolve, your clarity, your unbreakable will. You didn't stumble upon this power, you claimed it. You seized it with the precision of a predator and the patience of a judge. And that is why this moment is irreversible, because when you black out their power in a single moment, it is not a temporary setback. It is the final verdict, the sealed decree that echoes through the silence, louder than any battle cry ever could. They will feel it, too, the crushing weight of their own impotence, the bitter sting of every door slammed shut, every hope extinguished, every opportunity ripped away before it could even begin. They are left grasping at shadows while you stand in the light of absolute dominion. And that light is no mercy. It is a beacon of your indomitable spirit, a lighthouse in the storm of their despair. Power, in its truest form, is a solitary thing. It isolates as much as it elevates. But it is in that solitude you find your greatest strength, because no one else can dictate the terms of your rule. No one else can rewrite the script you've already finished writing. The moment you sealed their exit was the moment you took your place above the noise, above the chaos, above the desperate cries of those left behind. This is the power of finality, the power of decisiveness, the power of knowing, beyond doubt, that you are the one who controls the fate of the game itself. You didn't just close their path, you erased their map, took away their compass, and set the boundaries of their world to the limits of your own design. Every breath they take is now a reminder that the freedom they once possessed is gone. Gone because you chose to take it, because you understood what so many fail to see. Sometimes, to win, you must become the end. In the shadow of your choice, they will find no solace, no answers, no hope. Only the harsh truth that the power they lost was never theirs to keep. It was yours to claim, yours to wield, yours to black out with a single, unwavering moment of resolve. And in that moment, you weren't just a player. You were the force of inevitability, the unshakable pillar that all others must bow before or break against. But don't mistake this for cruelty. This is clarity. This is vision. This is the purest expression of strength. To close someone's path and seal their exit is not an act of malice. It is an act of creation. Creation of a new order where you stand as the unwavering center, the axis around which all power now turns. This is your domain, and in this domain, your will is law. Now, with their power blacked out and their exit sealed, your future is limitless. The road you walk is unchallenged. your steps unshadowed by doubt or fear, because you know what others don't. Power is not given, it is taken. Paths are not granted, they are closed.